I'm feeling it.
Yo, y'all ever watch Wild Boys or Jackass back in the day?
What's
Yeah,
Wild Boys?
yeah, I was about to say Wild Boys.
So Wild Boys was Steve-O and Pontius. They did their own separate show after
That was before
Jackass.
Jackass? Oh, after
I,
Jackass.
I believe it was after. It might have been before. Now that you say that, I think I'm just assuming that it was after Jackass. But they basically went to like all different continents and different parts of the world, different tribes, even in different continents, and just kind of was in the culture and obviously doing the Jackass type stuff too. Man, that show's so funny. And it was funny because the other day I'm on the phone with Angel and Ronnie. Shout out to them boys. And we were just talking about some random stuff. And I was watching Wild Boys at the time. And I asked them too. I'm like, yo, y'all remember Wild Boys, whatever? We started talking about like the segments on it. And then I told them, yo, y'all remember when one of them acted like they died from a snake bite and made the other ones think that he was really dead? Like when we started talking about it, I started remembering I was cracking up. And just so happened that the next segment after I hung up with them was that segment. So Johnny Knoxville gets bit by this snake, and they make Steve-O and Pontius think they make them think that there's like no anti-venom for it, and if you get bit by that snake, you're doomed. So he gets bit by the snake, and when I saw it back in the day, it was like a whole long segment. He gets bit. They got all the producers and everybody there, like all pretending like they're worried. He gets taken away on a stretcher. He goes in the hospital. Bro, they went to the point that a doctor or somebody came out at the end to tell them like, yo, he didn't make it, dog. They start crying and everything, bro. Like they're like, oh my God, I can't believe Knoxville's dead. Like, and then Johnny Knoxville comes out like, why y'all crying, pussies? Yo, it was crazy. But the crazy thing is, it was a mad long segment. But when I actually seen it on Paramount Plus, the segment was like 30 seconds, bro. They showed Knoxville getting bit in the beginning.
I was about to say, I just saw some Paramount Plus.
Yep. Knoxville gets bit in the beginning, and then they show the ending where Steve-O and Pontius are like, dang, we really thought you was dead, but they cut out the whole thing, bro.
And I was gonna go watch it, so it's not worth it watching on Paramount Plus. So you're not gonna see the whole shit.
You're not gonna see it at all.
I feel like I remember that, and I probably always thought everything was Jackass. So Jackass started like beginning of 2000, and then Wild Boy started like 2003, but Jackass was still going on. So I think I 100% remember that. I just kind of thought it was all culminated in the Jackass. Yeah, but I do remember that shit was wild, bro. Damn, I want to see that.
Wild Boys
again.
was when they was in they were on the horse, and it's Steve-O and Pontius, and they're both wearing thongs and nothing else. They got a monkey on their back, and they're like, here at Wild Boys, we love animals, and we would never hurt them. And then the monkey slaps Chris in the face. Yo, that kind of
that new Jackass Forever. I think it's on like Paramount now or something like that, right?
I seen it. I'm a huge fan.
Or it might have been not Paramount, but the other one I'm in Peacock. It might have been on Peacock because I definitely
might have
saw
been Paramount because I seen mad Jackass stuff on Paramount.
Yeah, Paramount now owns MTV. That's like so Paramount has all the MTV shows now. Yeah,
bro, I'm a huge fan of Jackass. Whenever the movies come out, I watch them in the theaters. Bro,
the new one was wild though. The opening with the Godzilla dick.
Yo, they be wilding, bro.
But that was wild.
That's just hilarious. The only things I don't like from that is the throwing up and eating nasty stuff. I always fast forward that, but everything else for me is hilarious, bro. Yeah, that show crazy. Speaking of Jackass,
I was about to say this.
What?
Yo, I already know where you're going, Les.
Speaking of Jackass, dog, before we start this next part, let me tell you something, Joe, because you probably don't know. Quincy is probably the clumsiest guy of all time, bro.
Real talk. Real dog. Bruh, this man Lester has seen me damn near die. Probably
bro, I've seen him take tumble after tumble, dog.
This guy's accident prone.
Yo, facts. So what's the story, my guy?
Oh, man, only you can prevent forest fires, Quincy. How did you not?
All right, so obviously y'all already know what happened, but for the people listening, I've been getting my backyard together for about 3 weeks now, and like, every weekend I'll probably rake a little bit, burn it, because where I live, we can basically burn all the leaves and stuff like that to get rid of it. So every weekend I've been doing that. I've been having people come out, cut trees down, stuff like that. And basically, I've had palm trees in my backyard that have been needing to be cut down for a long time. So got those cut down today. Went out there when they were done. I was like, yeah, I'm about to go ahead and burn this because I got a lot to do this weekend.
A quick little interjection, bro.
Go ahead.
You were burning leaves and stuff recently, like a couple weeks ago, maybe a week or two ago. And you sent, I don't know if you sent it in the chat or if you put it on Instagram or something, but you sent like a video of you recording an open flame, bro. And as soon as I saw that, I'm like, dang, I don't like the idea of Quincy around an open flame, dog. This is gonna be bad, bro.
Oh shit.
All right, so so bam, so there's a lot of trees or a lot of branches that they cut down, so it's a big pile. So I'm like, all right, bet, let me go ahead and start this fire. So I start the fire, it's going. And apparently them palm trees was thirsty because it started going crazy. All of a sudden, bro, the fire is like I'm watching the fire get bigger and bigger, and I'm like, yo, is this getting kind of, what I'm saying? I'm eyeing it. I'm like, is this getting kind of dangerous, bro? And then next thing you know, bro, like you can hear like the fire roaring, bro. I was like, all right, bro. So I run to the side of my house to get the water hose. Now I gotta tell y'all the story though, because it's funny, like the details of it. I run to the side of the house, get the water hose, run all the way back to the fire, and I like the water hose stopped like 10 feet shy of where I could reach the fire. So I'm like, damn. So I'm like, damn. So bam. So I got another water hose on the other side of the house. Mind you, the water hose is going right now. So I run all the way to the front of the house, around to the side, the other side. Grab the other water hose. I run back to the hose, the hose by the fire, and then I go to try to take the gun part off and put it on the other water hose. Now the water is going, so I can't get it on because the water
it's hard to do that. You gotta headlock,
bro. I could not get it on, so I was like, fuck. So then I run back to the side of the house, turn the water off, run back up, put the thing on, run back to the side of the house, turn the water on. I run back to the water hose again, and I slip and bust my ass.
Yo, and we saw the residue of that. Buddy looked like he was in World War III.
Yo, so then Robin comes outside, and she's like, "Babe, are you good?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm straight. I'm straight." She was like, "Did you almost burn the house down?" I was like, "I don't know, but I'm getting under control now."
It's so crazy that you could just be like right inside the house and you're going through all this turmoil, dog. It's almost like a cartoon or something. Like if she would have had like a view of the window, you're like out
like
there,
what he doing running around. She probably thought you was getting a workout, just taking a lap around the crib.
Yeah, man. I swear, if anybody saw me, bro, that was pure entertainment. Like I know it looked all kind of crazy.
That's what's wild when you out in the cut like that. It's like you have that much to worry about. It's wild. That's that wild back there for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. I've been to Quincy's crib and it's super dope and it's mad spacious. I mean, he got a deck, a pool, a freaking little house back there, a garden, a bonfire area. I mean, that thing got the works back there.
It's a lot of land.
Yeah, man.
Old land.
So you would think that you could burn some stuff and be all right, but yeah, nah. I learned.
Is it windy over there right now?
It's not too bad. It was just that there's so much stuff on the ground. You know what I'm saying? That's why I've been like raking everything up because there's so much pine from like prior years or whoever the guy that lived here before that if the fire gets out of control, it's just gonna spread.
Yeah, feel you on that.
Joe, didn't you say you had like a kind of similar story or something that jogged you?
Oh yeah. Yeah, and all aspects of Quincy's story too. So we're at my boy's house on July 4th, right? And that was before, and I still think he doesn't have anything back there. It was just undeveloped land, just trees and shit, right? So we had another friend who was just setting off these bottle rockets just all over the place, just lighting them in his hands, like, and he kept lighting them towards the trees. And we're like, yo, you got to chill before you start a fire. And then all of a sudden we look in the backyard and there's about a 10-foot flame rising up, right? So we're lit. It's almost getting dark and we start trying to figure it out. So One of the dudes grabs a cooler with ice and water in it, runs all the way over there, tries to throw it, and it just falls like 2 feet in front of him. The fire is like 10 feet, 15 feet in front of him. And then we're like, just like Quincy, the hose. We go to grab the hose. And this is the thing. The fire was about 50 feet away from the water faucet, right? And just that morning, my boy had went to Home Depot and he was buying hoses. And he almost bought the 50-foot hose. And he said, you know what? I might need that extra 100 feet for something. And he bought the 150-foot hose that morning, plugged it in, ran all the way out there like some Ghostbusters, jumped the fence. I think like his brother-in-law ripped his shirt off, his old country boy, ran back there, threw his flip-flops off, and just put the whole fire out with the hose. It was nuts. But if that hose was a 50-foot hose, if he wanted to save money that day, it would have been a whole different situation. It's just crazy how things work out at certain times that could have changed the whole shit.
Facts. It'd be crazy how like some little things be so like insignificant at the moment, and then like at some time later,
so much
like,
more.
such a crucial part of like. Think about the fact that if he wouldn't have bought that hose,
that's what that's all we talked about the rest of the night.
Like,
and
you know what? Right now would have been so different. Like, who knows where that would have?
He might not even be. He still lives there. He might not even been living there today. And that I'm talking about. This was like almost 10 years ago, maybe. Yeah, this is when he just moved in, and he's been living there for like 10 years, probably. It's not, and that's why you know what? That was so long ago before like the Marvel and the alternate universes, how a ripple could change everything. That literally a ripple. If you wanted to save money that day and get that 50-foot hose, we would have never stopped that, and it would have been a whole different situation.
Y'all ever seen or heard of the show called Fringe?
Yeah, I like that show.
It's a show?
Yeah.
Fringe.
No, I don't think I have.
It's like let's say like a detective type show, but it's more like sci-fi. You know what I mean? And everything kind of like connects to some overarching kind of fantasy theme, but it's more scientific, but obviously it's like sci-fi, so it's not like real type stuff. You should check it out. It's super dope. But the multiverse type of thing you're telling me, that was actually kind of like the first time I've seen the multiverse theory / concept like in a show like to that level, because they kind of had those themes in that too. And what do y'all think about that just in general? Like people saying that there's like different versions of time and different timelines going at the same time and things like that. What do y'all think about them far out type of things? Because especially now they talking about aliens. The government's talking about aliens. They seeing random stuff in the sky. The other day in Orlando, somebody sent me a video of some crazy thing in the sky, kind of going back and forth. What do y'all think about that? The multiverse and just aliens and stuff like that.
I mean, I definitely think there's other like life forms out there, but as far as the multiverse, I just don't, until I see something to kind of like show me that that's truly possible, I can't really buy into it just yet. But I haven't seen anything to say that that's actually the, you know what I'm saying, to win me into that idea. But I definitely believe that there's other life forms out there for sure.
So I got something I'm gonna let you answer, Joe, but what you're saying right now, what I would say back to you is you already kind of just accept that everything in our reality is normal. You know what I mean? So what makes what's going on now normal and those other ideas abnormal?
Like the UFO stuff?
No, just what he was saying about the multiverse, that he has to see like some kind of evidence or something, because he don't really, it's not something that really, you know, sounds so definitive to him. But at the same time, like the reality we're living in now and the way things are presented to us now, like we kind of just, you know, don't give it a second thought because that's just what we're living. But the stuff even now is kind of crazy, and the different things that go on. So like, what makes you accept this reality and everything that goes on in it versus what like those other concepts? Is the idea of what you just said, that you don't have any hard evidence or you can't prove it?
Yeah. And So my tattoo that I just got on my leg represents like what I feel the strongest about. And it just represents the ideology, it doesn't represent facts. But to me, it's like I feel everybody has a predetermined destiny for the life you're living. And it's almost but I do believe in divine intervention, which is kind of like what the reality you're supposed to live is guiding you to. You remember Adjustment Bureau? You ever seen that movie?
I've heard of it, and I know what you're talking about.
Amazing movie. And it's two people who were literally fighting their predetermined destinies and where the life they were, determined to live. And there's an adjustment bureau that works for a higher power. I want to get the quotes in the camera. A higher power that's made to control your life. And they almost coincidentally met on a train, and those dudes were there to make sure they didn't. You know what I mean? So it's like I feel like everything's so predetermined. So anything that comes into your life, it's meant to come in. You're meant to hear about it. You're meant to know about it. You're meant to be a part of it. And that's why when I have these crazy ass dreams, I feel like I lived in these other realities of me. And it's so crazy because they're so vivid and they're so reoccurring. And they're so situational based. It's like I feel like I lived in all these realities before. Something my father's shared with me and the way he grown up. So just stuff that I've experienced myself, stuff that I believe in the most. I wouldn't say 100% is allows me to just bring everything in as this is what it's supposed to be. If that can sum it up.
I think I somewhat agree with that. But then there's a side of me that I believe in destiny, but then there's the other side of me that I believe in purpose. Now you can kind of say they're a little synonymous in a way, but I feel like everyone has a purpose, and whether you go take the actions that's necessary to accomplish that purpose is ultimately within the person. But I think some people don't even find their purpose or know their purpose. But I think that's kind of like, for me, that's my guiding light is the purpose that I feel is for me. You know what I mean? That's like my guiding light through life and how I move. So that's why I agree with you to a certain extent.
Are you confident in your purpose today?
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know 100% what it is?
Yeah.
You don't think it'll ever change?
It hasn't changed in 10, 11 years.
Yeah. No, I'm not questioning it. I just never really talked to anybody about their purpose before.
Yeah, no, I mean, my purpose for myself was established, the moment that I was left with nothing but solitude to figure it out,
So without, just a brief synopsis, what do you feel like your purpose is?
I, believe that my purpose is basically my life that I'm living. Yeah, I'm enjoying it along the ride, but it's not for me. It's for, those after me. So every action that I take from, 10 years ago or whenever I discover this purpose to the day that I die is for that purpose. Like when I tell you I'm making sacrifices and doing all these things to accomplish all these goals financially and whatever. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about breaking the chains for me. I don't want to leave this earth and leave my family the same way it was when I came into it.
That's what's up.
What about you, Joe?
I look at it as I don't know when I'm gonna find out my purpose. I don't know if it's the day I'm gone is the day I found out what my purpose was looking back. But one thing I focus on is every day until there is to be the best version of me that I can be. And that I believe that version of me is to give love and to give help and get support and to be there for people and to make moments matter and to make memories matter and to do things that people will remember me for. And if at the end of the day, my purpose was that's what it is. But if I serve a bigger purpose in the end that I haven't realized yet, I'm continuously working to reach that.
I like detail that Quincy said about you said something along the lines of you had to be kind of in solitude to kind of figure that out for yourself. And something that I've brought up a couple times that Joe actually asked me about recently was I reference a lot Jesus in the desert. You know what I mean? And y'all know I'm not somebody you would classify as religious. I would say I kind of don't believe in anything. I just kind of marvel at everything and accept all the possibilities and just follow what I call the God in me, because everybody got that. You know what I'm saying? And when you do something wrong, you feel wrong. When you do something right, you feel right. When you do right things, it leads you down a path of betterness. You know, I don't know if betterness is a word, but you know, when you do the right thing, it's going to lead you to the next right thing and you're going to grow. So for me, when I look at something like the story of Jesus in the desert, I look at it as him against the devil, or him having those trials with the devil is really just him having trials with himself. You know what I mean? Him going out and having that solitude where he could just kind of look within and really figure out, okay, what's my purpose? What am I doing? Kind of like you were saying, Quincy. I'm not too well versed in the Bible, but I believe after that, he kind of gained some kind of clarity and it kind of led into all the next phases of his story. You know what I mean? I'm going to verify that for next time. But I kind of look at it like that parable and that story is something that everybody needs to do to a certain degree. You know, everybody has to. And that's where I see the devil in social media, cell phones and all that stuff, because it's keeping you away from that solitude where you're looking inside and really digging into the stuff that makes you a rotten person, to try to get rid of that and grow you as a person. You know what I mean? And so when it comes to purpose, to me, going off of what both of y'all said, to an extent, I don't agree with either one of you, because I would say our purpose is for us, and the better that you do for yourself, it's going to give you that longevity / lasting effect where they have something to look at. And it's like, dang, he lived this way and he did things this way and he never faltered. We're striving to carry that name and make it happen, as far as what you were saying, Quincy. And then as far as what you were saying, Joe, about we all have like kind of like our predetermined thing. I don't believe that. I believe you have a great path in front of you that if you follow the God in you, you can reach that. But there's a lot of people, you know, I would say 9 out of 10 stray away from that and don't reach that destiny. I don't believe that those people's destiny is to falter. You know what I mean? They just didn't follow their destiny.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I feel that.
I like the different perspectives too, because that essentially influences you to start thinking in different ways and looking at it differently. Yeah.
And then the cool part about it too is, even though I don't agree with everything y'all say, I can take it in from each one of y'all perspective, going off of, you know, something that we've been talking about based off your lived experiences, and I can understand it. And obviously I'm not going to have any kind of ill will towards it, because that's your reality. That's what you're doing. And as long as you're going, you know, towards that path, that righteous path, who am I to judge what you're doing? The only time I'm the type of person that the only time I'm gonna judge you, and judge might be the wrong word, but the only time I'm gonna look at you sideways is if we both know that what you're doing is off the path. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's why, you know, I always bring up, you know, being faithful, you know, working hard, you know, having the good vibes, understanding people's point of view. Yeah. All that stuff is going to help you and just give you clarity while you move on. Because I know so many people that I talk to that like to talk junk about other people, just from the point of view of be living in the negativity of judging what somebody else is doing, how you would do it different, why they're wrong, all that stuff. I'm not big on that. Obviously, we're all human. You know, we all make fun of things here and there. You might see somebody like we were talking about with Quincy. Quincy slip and fall. Ha ha. Quincy slipped and fell. But it's not going to escalate from there. You know what I mean? It's not something where I'm going to be in the background with somebody else like, damn, man, Quincy fell. He's so clumsy, and try to turn it into something else and really just go in on you like, oh, man, you know, this dude, like, to me, that's a waste of time / it's not going to help or do anything. You know what I mean? And that's such an important factor, I feel like, just to be a healthy person and just to be happy. Like, don't even be worried about / into what everybody else is doing, caring about how somebody else is carrying their life out. Cause it's just so crazy to me. Like, if you look at your life as a vessel, like, and like if you look at your life as you in a vessel going towards a destination, like you're just in an open ocean and you're seeing these ships going by, you know, it's an analogy people use all the time, you know, ships passing and everything. But if you're seeing them ships pass, what kind of engines they got, what kind of sails they got, the exterior, the interior, who's the captain, all them details, literally none of that affects you at all. Because where are you? You're in your ship. So whatever is going on there, whatever's going on the other side, anywhere you look, you can spend all day looking at them ships and talking crap and saying how, oh man, if that was my ship, I would do it like this, whatever the case is. But at the end of the day, you just talking crap and not tending to your ship. Mm-hmm. So your ship is gonna fail the journey. You know what I mean? And that's kind of how I look at everything as far. But
there's also the other side of that, and it's actually something that I actually posted on my LinkedIn earlier, and it was like a college a senior in college, and her final project, she produced the whole track. She played it for Pharrell. I don't know if you ever seen that. And she played it, and it was really good. And he gave her, and like they're sitting in the studio, and he gave her like the most humble opinion. And someone posted about it, and it was like about the grace he had about her giving the opinion, which didn't discourage her at all, short of the angles where she needs to work at. And I reposted that, and I used a quote, and I forgot who said it, but it said, you know, if you have knowledge, let others light your candle in it. So it's also the other side that if you're in the ocean, you're moving good and you're rolling good and you ain't got no problems, and you see others that are not, you also got to do your part to try to help that. And I think that is what that serving a purpose is. So while serving a purpose is serving a purpose to yourself, you always got to serve a purpose to others. And that's what my strongest belief is, that my purpose is what I do for others. Way before what I do for me. And that's how I look at it, and not disagreeing, but that is just 100% how I see what a purpose is for somebody.
But I think at the end of the day, what it comes down to is, you know, like I don't know which one of y'all said it earlier, but what's righteous? You know what I mean? Like, what's the righteous thing to do? Whether it, you know, in your position, it's like, you know, doing for others. You know, for my position, it's like doing as much as I can so that I can serve my family, and you know what I mean. So it's like at the end of the day, the intent is still doing good. You know, and I think that's where it kind of comes down to, is like, is your intentions good, or are, you know what I mean, or are they not? You know.
Mm-hmm. So my kind of opinion on that is, I kind of have this mentality of like, I'm going to seek out people that when I look at them and I look at what they're doing and I look at the positions they're in, it's something that I could see for myself, or it's see for myself as far as something that I could see myself being a part of or doing. Or I want to be able to see, okay, this dude is righteous. So what he's saying is coming from a real place of experience, knowledge, growth, wisdom. So that's one angle of it. And the other angle of it is, I'm real big on, I don't dish out advice, or I don't really try to help people until they actually are seeking it. You know what I mean? Because I definitely hear where you're coming from, Joe, because I agree with that also. But through a lot of trial and error, I've really, like, in my life, for the people that are around me and the situations that I've been in, I've noticed that you could, you know, tell people anything. You could give them the blueprint damn near of how to get out of the situation they're in, or how to, quote unquote, get what you have that they want. And until they
you shared that with us, we've seen it. You done it 100%, and they don't take it lightly. They don't. Mm-hmm. That's not what they want to hear.
Yep, and that's exactly what it is. You know, like you can give advice and you can seek out helping people, and even what you're saying, Quincy. And I'm gonna say it from my point of view, even like I could do that for my kids, but if they're different types of people, whatever I'm doing now, it's not gonna mean nothing if they don't have that either mental capacity or the desire, the drive, or the whatever's in them. If they don't follow that God in them, everything that I do, it don't matter. You know
That's
what I'm saying?
100% facts. And I'm gonna be real. That if I could ever tell you what my biggest fear is, that would be it. Doing all of this, and you know what I'm saying, being 60, 70 years old, if I'm blessed to make it, you know what I'm saying, and they mess it up, or they sell the house, or they whatever, you know what I mean? Just all kind of crazy stuff that could happen when you're gone. That's my biggest fear. Of course, I wouldn't be here physically to see it, but that's my biggest fear for sure.
Yep. That's why I've always even just stressed it to my wife, even from the beginning. And this is 100% true. You could even ask her. I've always told her, don't put up with no shit, even from me. This is your life. You need to be happy. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, if I'm happy and you're not happy, this ain't working. You know, not saying that that's the situation or that's ever been the case, but I just always tell that to her so she knows, you know, me being in a happy bliss and being oblivious to, you know, you maybe feeling a certain type of way or the kids or whatever, that's not living. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, like what you're saying, Quincy, when you're on your deathbed, you got to be satisfied with what you did and your experiences in your life. You know what I mean?
100%.
And that's something that's even super hard about being a parent. Like, and that self-reflection and a lot of time that I spend thinking about that kind of stuff, it really just zones me in on accepting that things can go different for my kids. You know what I mean? And just accepting that no matter how hard I try and how deep a hole I dug myself out of,
what's going to happen is going to happen.
Yep, exactly. It doesn't guarantee that they're going to follow or whatever the case is, you know?
That's one thing that, and I think we talked about this in a similar fashion, is that unless you believe in the afterlife and the afterlife is real, when you're gone, you're never going to know what anybody felt about you or how they felt about you. You're never going to find out because you're gone. So your job is to live a life that when you are, it's hopefully is that's one of my favorite Joe Rogan quotes. It's like, that was a fucking great guy. Mm-hmm. So I want to do everything to where everybody I've ever, and you know what's dope? I've had a mentor at one of my first, when I started this job, he became my mentor, and his email signature was a quote, and I'm not gonna worry about who it's from, but it said, "I'm only passing through this life once. So any kindness, any compassion, any favor I can show anybody, let me do it now, because I'm not passing this way again." And that's something that's always, I might get that shit tattooed on me. No, but you know what I mean? It's like, live like this is your one chance to go out as one of the greatest people that live in your life. Do it. Live that way.
And just to kind of start wrapping up, that's something that my wife even talks to me about, as far as, I'm kind of coming out of left field, but you'll understand. My wife always talks to me about, you know, people aren't like you. She always tells me, you know, you expect people to do things the way you do it because of the lens that you have on life. But a lot of people don't feel that way. And as simple as that is, it took me a while to learn. And to this day, I'll admit that I've learned it, but I still don't understand it, because exactly what you said, Joe, we all got this one life. I know we've all thought about it. So why would you waste it? And why would you continue to be lazy and not doing things to better yourself and see your full potential? Why would you let yourself go? Like, all those things I'll never understand. I'll understand the concept of it, and I understand that people aren't the same and everything, but actually understanding it on a level where I could feel that, I'll never understand it.
Yeah. It's something that you're either going to accept early in your life, or something you're never going to accept until it's like the last days. And that's when people, it's always comes to like when they get a second chance of life, or when they're on their deathbed, where they want to believe that, oh, maybe if I'm just a good person, and that's when it's too late. There's something you got to think about a lot early on.
And that goes back to the analogy, that you made earlier with the ships. Like if I'm, trying to truck on my journey in my ship, and I look over and your ship is sinking, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? I can't jeopardize myself and my journey to try to save your ship when you keep putting holes in it. You know what I'm saying? You keep making decisions that are just adding more and more holes to your ship. So yeah, no, that was a great analogy.
And just to even bring it back to the Jackass thing we started with, people can say whatever they want about those Jackass guys. They're idiots, all the stuff you heard, people that don't like it or whatever. But at the end of the day, them dudes traveled the whole world, met people in some of the tribes, like the earliest tribes of this world. You know what I mean? They've, been around these animals that people only dream of seeing. They've done so much in their lives, and they're all relatively young. So at the end of the day, you could judge all you want. But when we all look back and say what our lives were, a lot of us might wish we was jackasses.
Yeah. A lot of people desire, everybody talks about they love adventures, they love traveling, they love doing these. So these guys did for free. They had fun doing it. And they got paid to do it. And they got paid to do it. You can never look down on them like they lost. And that's why all the troubles that like Steve went through and the people, and who've passed that went through it, it's like because they were so young and they had the world in their hands. They did whatever they wanted. And that was
to the actual like exact phrasing of that word, they literally had the world in the palm of their hand. I mean, at the beginning of each episode, they were on a different continent, bro. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Crazy. But yeah, man, I got 2 new joints dropping in April. We got a joint called Comfortable, and then I got this cover of the Spanish joint from De La Ghetto that has been getting a lot of dope feedback on YouTube, and I got the pre-save links in my bio. So anybody that's listening to this, y'all check out LesterWave.com or hit me up on Instagram, Lester.wave, and you can pre-save all the joints. I got a lot of dope stuff on the way. Quincy, what you got, my guy?
Man, by the time this one dropped, that Payback should be out.
That's my joint right there.
Yeah, that Payback should be out. And then Good Days, man. That joint dropping on 420 for obvious reasons. So, yeah, stay tuned, man. We got a lot going on. I'm super, super, super excited. Me and Lester got a new joint that we're working on it's actually done. We just in the polishing phases of it that I'm super excited about, man. Just a lot of moving pieces, but it's very exciting, and I'm ready to keep it going.
Joe, real quick before you go, you might not even know, but we're gonna get some scenes for that Good Day video at that barbecue that we have in here.
Oh, I'm gonna make sure I have my haircut.
Yeah, I'm gonna drop it in the chat. Make sure whoever's coming making sure they look freshkies.
No, I love it, man. To everybody who keeps up, the content's coming. It's not only coming from the Grounded Instagram, it's also coming from our personal accounts. There's a lot more that we're trying to share. We're trying to have YouTube clips, YouTube shorts, just if you follow, continue to view, continue like it's we're just trying to push the message, push the messages, be the messengers, and just try to keep thought-provoking things going on, like we said in our bio. Keep it grounded.
Facts, man. We always gonna stay grounded, and we always gonna stay buhara.